And now, for the first time in 2020, we are live. Come one, come all. Welcome once again to episode number 14 of the Wrestling Council. Missing my dear friend Boogie Bentley, but I of course am Antonio Bryce, and I have two very fine, distinguished gentlemen here. The three of the four horsemen to my right on my screen anyway. It is Mr. Yule Carter. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful. Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to see you. I'm really happy to get this started. I hope our records reset like in AEW.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And I have one question for you guys. You can answer it later. If you really wanted to get your hands on somebody, how many whacks of a belt are you willing to take?
I don't know. I don't like getting hit.
Get your hands on somebody, as in get your hands on
Cody Rhodes and MJF.
Oh, okay. I ain't thinking any of that.
I'm
sorry.
I'm as soft as potted meat at this point, man.
Yeah, exactly. And since you are down there so lonely, please let me welcome Comic Book Bob. How are you, sir? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you guys, man. And I hope our records reset, because otherwise I'm gonna be like Brandon Cutler, man. I'm gonna be 0-10.
They do need to. After watching some of the dark AEW Dark and watching AEW Dynamite this week, and just for the last few weeks, they definitely need to maybe rethink some of the booking. I do appreciate the fact, because we were critical about, are they going to do like they're going to be like Jeff Jarrett, and when he starts TNA and he's champion all the damn time, and he really does have the stroke. All because he's the damn champ all the time. But at some point, if they're building around the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody, they need to be strong. They need strong competition as well, though. I get that, but they definitely need to have. They can't just be losing. They had Kenny Omega's record up, and he was, it was like 5-7 or something. It was crazy. I was looking. I was like.
I think they realize that, because if you notice what they've done since they started moving towards the new year, they're winning pretty regularly now.
Yeah.
And I think they realize that, I get, everyone was basically like, okay, we get that you guys don't want it to look like you're abusing your power, but we want you guys to win because we came here to watch you guys. And but I do think that they need to keep bringing in more good competition for them to be up against, because someone actually made a really good observation. Kenny is at his best when he's up against somebody that can really push him.
Yeah, I was like, it's a bad look though. It just because that was one of the things they were saying on one of the last. I think it was the last Cornette before he went on hiatus, where they were like, he's damaged his marketability coming to AEW. I mean, they gave him a big check, obviously, and some some percentages and whatnot. But yeah, he kind of hurt his marketing ability, at least statewide. He's still obviously very much over in Japan, but there's a lot of U.S. wrestling fans that hadn't really seen him outside of some of the New Japan stuff, and they just see this guy and he's just jobbing, and the damn Young Bucks are jobbing for everybody. I was like, what are y'all doing? It would just seem weird. I thought for sure that they were going to be over. I'm not bothered that they're not automatically champions right out the gate, but they need to look strong and competitive at least.
Seems like they reset it with this episode, though.
Yeah. Well, it's the new year now, so the records are all so.
And that was one thing. That's another interesting thing too. Is they wrestled a lot of matches, man. Yeah. Like if you look at the number of matches, Kenny wrestled like 15 times.
Yeah, he was out there.
Yeah, you know. And then you look at someone like I mentioned, Brendan Cutler, that one guy, or you look at you know, like
eight matches or something.
Yeah, like he was like 7 matches. Like a lot of the other guys they've only wrestled like 7 or 8 times, and like you need to spread that out a little bit more, because I think another thing too is that it's very possible to get overexposed.
Well, the one thing is that they don't shy away from, you can be singles for a while and then all of a sudden he's had a lot of tag matches with Adam Page, it seems.
Yeah,
like 2 of those. He has one next week too.
Yeah, and they're playing. What do you think about this? He might be at a drunk alcoholic angle that they're doing. What do you think about?
I think they're teasing. They're trying to tease a possible a heel turn, but I think I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're teasing it, and then something's going to happen, and then Page is going to like be the guy that comes in and saves everybody, and then they're going to be friends again.
Or else somebody will be injured and then they have to pull back.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Am I the only one that heard the open mic? They went to commercial break. And I heard there was this was right before the final match, and they were bringing, Adam Page was coming to the announce booth to do color with them. And they were doing the picture-in-picture thing. Jim Ross's mic was still hot, and I could hear him. And they were like, "No, we don't need this. Drop that." And Excalibur can tell the women's championship story and all this, And I don't think they realized the mics were open, because you could hear, like Adam Page is talking to him, and then like when they go live, he's back as the character again. It was strange. I don't think they realized that the mics were open. That
happened at the end too.
Yeah, it was strange, dude. I was like, this boy, they need to get their shit together, man. I don't know what.
That's one thing at a time.
Okay, but it's been a year, man. At this point, I think we could start. I think we're at the point where we got to stop giving them a pass on this and say, listen, you need to get your technical shit together.
The technical is a problem, but that's what happens when you go from city to city. The WWE is such a behemoth that they're able to take anything they want with them all the time.
Yeah.
And that might not be their situation, or that might be the reason why, again, we don't get any West Coast appearances from them hardly. At least yet.
Which that's supposed to change this year. But speaking of about talking about them abusing their power and putting their guys over and stuff, what did you guys think about Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn on AEW Dark?
Oh, I didn't see it. I heard that Billy Gunn was going to be doing stuff.
I saw some of the dirt sheets talking about that. The schedule on AEW is very light because they don't do that. They only do the TV tapings and everything. So, as long as he can wrestle with his son. Matter of fact, they said he filed a trademark for Gun Show. Something like that.
His son looked really green.
Oh, I bet.
he looked really green, man. And there's people that there's people that argue that Billy Gunn is not a very good wrestler to begin with.
Shit.
There've been a few people.
He's no road dog or anything.
Shit. Come on. Especially when he was Mr. Ass in WWE. Come on, man.
I got 2 words for you.
No, that dude. No, I mean, he might be one of those 6 or 7 moves guys, but that dude had to. I'm sure he was he had some pharmaceutical help with that physique, but I loved the guy's look, the way he moved in the ring. I thought that guy was great, man.
And he's a lot bigger than people think he is.
Yeah, when they did that battle royal the other week, and he was like but that shows you that AEW's got a lot of those small guys wrestling.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I watched Power again this week.
I watched some of that Nick Aldis.
Dude, they have a bunch of big dudes down there. In this really small ring, in this very small promotion. I liken it to like the Island of Misfit Toys. It's the Misfit Wrestlers. That's who all are down there. They had Ken Anderson.
Big giant dudes wrestling on
Anderson.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that a lot of people are saying is that with there's a lot of contracts coming up, especially like in Impact and whatnot, Impact and Ring of Honor, and supposedly they're gunning pretty hard for a lot of the big guys that are coming out of there because like we need more big guys.
That means guys
and speaking of big guys, man, I think it was a big mistake not taking that belt off of Riho this week.
I was amazed that she didn't lose, but we have Statlander next week, so that might be it.
But here's the thing. Did you notice that they're actually kind of listening to people? Again, AEW listening to the crowd, because they had that bit where Britt Baker went back and was telling her, you sneak in and you steal your wins. Mm-hmm. You know, she got up in Riho's face and she was like, you know, you're always sneaking in. Everybody else does the work and you sneak in and you steal the wins.
That sounds racist. I'm just joking.
But I'm thinking, I'm hoping that you're right, that they pass it off. Cause I think, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think
there the last few weeks, though. Another.
And that's Baker said that.
She said that. And if you watch the match, Riho does exactly what she said she did. She's like absentia for like 2/3 of the match. She pulls a couple moves and then she gets knocked out. And then after everybody else softens everyone else up, she slides in and she steals the win.
Hey, in a 4-way, you got to do that, right?
But yeah, man,
you only have a 25% chance of winning.
Yeah, but I think they're kind of setting things up, and then I think they're going to take the belt off of her.
Yeah, well, they need it's time. I just think that I actually think they were wanting to put the belt on Nia Rose, and the
fans just weren't behind it, though.
Yeah,
she's kind of greenish too. I mean, I don't see anything that says she's a ring general in any way.
Yeah,
I mean, let's just what we've seen in the ring.
Let's put the women's belt on the man.
I don't even. Yeah, well, you know, there is that aspect, but
I mean, they're gonna do it. I mean,
they might not. I mean, again, listening to the fans,
but it just seems weird because Awesome Kong's like 45 years old or whatever, and you know they're still using her.
And they're saying that she's like injury. She has a lot of injuries that she's dealing with.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, when we start talking about old wrestlers versus. Because, I mean, her prime, that was 15 years ago. Yeah. And I'm like, because when she was in Impact, she was in Impact, I thought that chick was lethal. And then I was excited for her when she got to go to WWE. And she got injured.
They misused her so bad.
Yeah, and it was awful. And then she just went away, and I was like, oh, okay.
She did glow.
Yeah.
Very good in that. Very good. I was amazed that she was as good as she was.
Yeah, I just
but I think I think the whole reason Chris Statler was brought in is because they're looking for someone with that kind of charisma, and they're going to put it on there. But I like what Criminal's saying here. The teasing of Britt Baker heel turn. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, I can see it, but I don't know. I think she's a natural baby face if they.
Yeah, but if the fans aren't accepting her, then she's easy to move over.
And she's got Adam Cole to coach her because he's one of the best heels in the business.
This is true. She can get some lessons while they're laying in bed together, I'm sure.
But speaking of Kong, she did have a match with what was the chick's name? Skylar Moore. She had a match on Dark.
Dark, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming it was a squash, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those. It's like when I see Nyla, I know she's going out. I know she's gonna dominate. She's gonna slam some people through tables. She's gonna do all the power bombs,
but only after losing.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But and speaking of wins and losses, man. Has Jack Evans and Angelico even won a single match?
I don't think so.
Because they were on. They were the other.
What's that? H2 or whatever the hell.
H2. Yeah. H2. God, was it?
It's something stupid.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I mean, I don't like any of the names of the best friends, any of that. I mean, you know, there's a couple of guys on the AEW roster, like obviously MJF.
Hybrid 2, that's what it is.
Hybrid 2, okay, yeah. Yeah. Best friends, private party. SCU annoys me when they go, SCU! SCU!
I love SCU, man.
Scorpio Sky, he's great.
I love Scorpio Sky, man.
He's getting better.
I just hate that music and them coming out like that. It just drives me nuts, dude.
Because here's the thing, though. It was supposed to drive you nuts because they were originally heels.
Yeah.
They were originally. That's what the thing was.
This theme song got stuck and everything. I mean, when I see Randy Orton come out and he goes, I hear voices, and I was like, yeah. He gets me all hyped up and everything, and I was like, yeah.
And then he does a headlock, and I fall asleep.
And there's so much stuff I want to ask you guys about, because you got Dave Meltzer reporting the Randy Orton injury that happened Sunday night.
I knew it was a work from the minute go, dude. I was like, there's no way this is real.
I gotta be honest, I thought he was legitimately hurt because they didn't have any TV footage of it. Was all camera phone shit. So I was like
the fact that no other site was putting up any kind of like report or anything about like what the injury was or anything like that. I was like, nope. It's
so they ended that match early.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like they said, Vince was upset at Dave because Dave looked into it and he said, "Oh, it's a work. It's not a real injury." So he exposed it. So when he came out on Raw, and he did the move on AJ, which I thought it looked great. He got a great reaction and everything. Because he said, what did he say? You're impatient and I'm not, or some stuff like. And he just did. Boom, RKO, boom, and the crowd just popped.
Yeah, they pop for that all the time.
They got a great pop from that. Raw was kind of like about a 2 for me, but the wedding was interesting.
Oh God!
All right, I'm ready for this.
Okay, no. All right. So for everybody else, everybody's watching everything that's going, okay, this sucks. No, we had to suffer through this crap, so you're going to hear about it. All right.
Well, first I want to ask you guys a question.
Some of the worst stuff I've ever seen.
I've looked it up. What was the last WWE wedding?
I think wasn't it Triple H?
Triple H, Stephanie McMahon.
Wait. No, was it Daniel Bryan?
Oh, very good.
Daniel Bryan and AJ, right?
Yeah. Oh, bravo.
Oh, wow. Was that on SmackDown or Raw?
That I think was SmackDown.
Okay, that's why I was like, I was looking at because
bravo.
The last Raw one, the last one before that was the Triple H simply renew your vows thing.
Because I remember, I remember the whole crashing the Test. She was marrying Test.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, by the way, we went to the Chapel of Love and which they have that hanging in their home. By the way, that was something I saw on one of the WWE Network. They took the little Chapel of Love wedding certificate from that bit. It's framed up and hanging in Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's home. So.
This wedding, along with the Billy and Chuck, going back to Billy Gunn or Badass.
Oh my God!
This is a wedding that has upset some in the LGBTQ community, that one did too.
Stupid, but
I'm gonna just link it up. The
lesbian angle is dumb when you consider they actually have a actual lesbian wrestler that has been wanting to do that, and for whatever reason they have denied her. And
the fact that they kept shooting the angle that they wanted to do down, and then they did this. I'm like, this is 1,000 times worse.
Lana came out on Twitter and was all about, hey, pansexual this and homosexual this, and she's basically saying
that statement you put out.
Liv has been showing old tweets of them hanging out together.
It's stupid. It's this angle. From day one, this angle has done nothing but give me cancer of the soul.
All right, so
what about when Rusev came out the cake or whatever? And,
he kind of blew it.
Took him 10 minutes to get out of the cake.
Jesus, I gotta be honest. I have to when I watched it back a couple times,
Oh.
and I was like, how what was it like having to sit down in that fucking thing, waiting on these people to get their little bits off and everything? I'm like, shut up, let me come out the cake, you know.
Would you like to describe it, Bob? I've cut you off a couple times on that. Let the people that aren't watching, that are listening, know what's going on.
All right. So if you've been following this pile of monkey spunk, Lana, the whole damn show, Michael Cole is playing up the wedding of Bobby Lashley and they still call her the Ravishing Russian, even though she doesn't speak in a Russian accent anymore.
No, don't you remember they did the spot interview where she goes, I can, she was talking in the Russian accent, and then she goes, I can do a perfect American accent, and, switched it up so everybody, I was just like, okay, they know.
That's what I think about that. Anyway, so we get the little bits here and there, like Lana's putting lotion on her legs, and Bobby Lashley's putting on a freaking the stupidest outfit you've ever seen. He's putting on a suit jacket over top of nothing with the sleeves cut off.
Oh yeah, he looks ripped.
You gotta show the
real
guns,
jacked.
And so we get this crap where the guy who's supposed to be the
first husband.
Oh no, the guy. Well, we'll get to that.
Oh,
okay. The guy who's supposed to be the justice of the peace, or could not have looked more bored if his life depended on it. And he's basically just like, and now do you, Lana, the Ravishing Russian, take the almighty Bobby Lashley? I'm like, what the hell, man? So they come down, and Lana is like screeching like a freaking harpy about how it's her day, and she wrote her vows, and she wrote Bobby's vows too.
Yeah, she did.
And the vows are basically, you are the luckiest man alive because you get to marry me. And it's this. By the way, this whole thing took a half an hour.
Yeah, they gave 30 minutes of time.
30 minutes of this crap, and so we're getting all this garbage.
The YouTube views are through the roof, by the way.
I bet they are.
I'm not joking. They really are.
I believe you.
Here's the thing, and this is the thing that Vince doesn't seem to understand. They're not watching the show. They're watching the clip after the show's over.
Doesn't matter if it's on their YouTube.
Yeah, but they're doing it so they can fast forward through it. They're like, we don't want to watch this crap live.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then this bored ass justice of the peace is like, if there is anybody who does not believe these two should be.
He regretted having to say that, though.
Yes.
He knew what he was getting into.
Let them speak now or forever hold their peace. And so this other guy, who actually is a wrestler, I can't remember his name now, comes out, and supposedly he's Lana's first husband.
Who's this jabron?
Who is this jabron? Yes. He's like, this, she left me for Rusev, and now she's gonna leave me for this, and she left Rusev for this son of a bitch, and she's gonna leave you. And then of course Bobby goes over and he power slams him.
I thought he did a good job with his lines, actually.
Yeah, and then I can't remember who the lady is, but she comes up and she says that she's Bobby's ex-wife, and it's just it's basically the whole time I'm just sitting here going, please God, let it stop. I'm gonna get a drill and drill a hole through my head.
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah.
It's usually when Lana's speaking.
And then the big reveal.
And not only that, she had a segment just a few minutes earlier. Go.
Yeah. And the big reveal, the transformation of
Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan, thank you. My brain's like so.
It's mush now.
So Liv Morgan comes out, and she's wearing the weirdest damn outfit I've ever seen. It's like they're trying to make her look like, I don't know, like she's split personality or something.
A little crazed, definitely.
Yeah, like a Two-Face kind of thing. And she says that this person they helped them become find themselves, and they were there for them, and blah 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 blah. And Bobby's like, I've never met this woman in life. She goes, no, it's Lana. So
the crowd liked that. They had an idea
but then immediately the crowd died.
Yeah.
And
it went straight to a fight, and it was like,
the crowd literally, like, you couldn't. It was like a grave. You could have heard. I was hoping somebody would jump up like the last time and say, "Michael Cole sucks."
Oh, yeah.
It was so bad.
This wedding, like I had thought about all the other weddings, or at least some of the weddings that I could recall. And of course, the Billy and Chuck one comes to mind, and how upset people were. And of course, this one had a potential lesbian situation going on. And that made me think of Eric Bischoff, because not only was he involved in the Billy and Chuck one, he was also involved in Raw's infamous HLA segment.
Hot lesbian act.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is HLA, isn't it? And
yeah.
Except this wasn't Eric Bischoff. It was Paul Heyman.
You know what?
Paul Heyman's on SmackDown.
No, that was Bischoff, right?
This angle, supposedly this angle was Paul Heyman.
This is Paul, because wait a minute, which show? Because Michael Hayes, that was one of the things I thought was weird, because I thought, from what I understood, Michael Hayes was one of the. I know he works like pre-show and everything. It's strange to me, because this is about 10 years ago. I don't know when Bobby Lashley was here in the first run. Michael Hayes apparently said something really racist.
Oh,
and he said something really racist, which Bobby Lashley won't fully reveal, but he said something to the WWE people, and their response to that was to move Bobby Lashley off to another show. Yeah, I think they moved him to ECW or something, and that's it's also around the same time that he got a little tipsy and told Mark Henry that he's a bigger N-word than he is, or whatever. And then Mark Henry said something to the bosses, and they suspended Michael for 60 days. So it's weird, because that was I'm reading this on some of the dirt sheets that Michael Hayes had something to do with Raw on Monday. So it was strange. So I was like, so Bobby Lashley is, I guess they squashed everything or whatever. It just seemed weird. Yeah. I wouldn't want to work with him anymore.
Adam Montana was as made a point here. They actually started chanting Jerry.
Yeah, it was. Very.
That was the pop that everybody did. Was like, oh, this is a Jerry Springer thing. But immediately it died. And I'm telling you what, the only thing that could have saved that, and nothing could save this friggin' thing. Nothing.
No, it was a mess.
The only thing that could have even remotely saved, let them save face, is if Lana actually left with her.
Yeah,
that's the only thing
that would have got some attention. Yeah,
that would have got some attention, and it would have not made the thin skin so angry. Because
what do you think about CM Punk saying something? CM Punk,
what do you have to say about that?
He was saying that the WWE doesn't understand that they need to actually be more inclusive and actually hire, utilize the people that are actually from that community when they're trying to tell those type of storylines. And especially, like I said, they obviously have an openly gay wrestler on. Yeah. Well, I know
they have Liv Morgan, and then they have someone else. I can't remember.
Because Sonny Kiss was there. He didn't come out until after he left the company or whatever.
Right. Yeah, and I think isn't one of the isn't someone over in NXT?
Finn?
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Sorry, Finn.
No, he got a hot wife. I seen Finn's wife. I was like,
wasn't he married? Is he married or?
Oh no, he's married.
He's married. Kelly? Is that who it is?
Man, smoking hot Latina chick, man.
Wait, I'm mistaken.
Oh no, Finn. No, Finn's wife is. She got that heat.
But,
well, I didn't mean anything by that.
Anyway, but other than, here's the thing. This is the problem, and this segment summed up the way I feel about this last Raw summed up the way I feel about the WWE. When the WWE does good matches, they're good matches. Like the Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black match was good.
Good match. Great match, I thought.
Really good match.
Best match of the night.
Black. I like him.
Yeah,
it was much better than their pay-per-view match, if you ask me, because there was back and forth in this match. Whereas before, not so much.
I'm sorry. Street Profits versus OC was good until the end.
I agree.
I'm tired of OC.
The Randy Orton segment was good.
Oh, by the way, the Good Brothers.
Randy Orton segment was great. Yeah,
the Good Brothers lost, and AJ Styles was not around.
Yeah,
just want to remind you.
But when they do something bad, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. Like, the Eric Rowan stuff is like, I'm done. I'm done with Eric Rowan. Do something with this guy. For God's sake, please do something with the guy.
The problem is, and it's what everybody always says when they're really getting to the heart of what is wrong with Raw, is that it's a 3-hour program. You're trying to fill time. And, one long match will fill up almost an entire 2-hour show. But you got a lot of other things you could do. But when you have to fill another hour, it's near impossible.
And then the Charlotte versus Natalya match.
That's like Randy Orton, John Cena. I've seen it.
Who's the heel and who's the face? Every week it changes.
Yeah.
They don't know what the hell they don't know what to do with any of them. And then
I think Charlotte's the heel though, because they're painting her. She's starting to come out and say that she's kind of been upset about how they've been booking her and all this kind of stuff. So I think they're trying to.
I feel like I've heard that when she's a face also.
Natalya came out and Natalya was being the heel. She was yelling at the crowd. She's telling them to shut up and everything. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then, freaking Drew McIntyre, who's one of the best assets they have. And
they've ruined him again.
They are making him a freaking goofball. And then, of course, the freaking wedding. I mean, he's
only like 34. They ruined him when he was there the first time.
My God,
we went to Impact, and obviously, and did some wrestling in Japan as well, if I'm not mistaken. And comes back to the WWE. I say, oh, great, he's back, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just it's just more telling me that they're just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks for the week.
Drew, as long as he doesn't get injured, he can kind of wait out. Some guys are getting older, some will get injured, and as long as he's kept somewhat strong in the meantime, kind of just floating along, he could get that really quick push and be believable to the fans out there, depending on what they want to do with him, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see this being a good year for him because, Seth Rollins... well,
I think Seth is moving in the right direction, though. So
possibly, we'll see. I'm not sure if he's going to be loved or I don't know. It depends on what they do with him, really.
Yeah. Cole Irwin. That's exactly what I'm saying. Cole said Nat Charlotte was a good match, but 100% they don't seem to know what to do with either of them and haven't for some time. That's exactly the problem. When they wrestle in the ring, it's a good technical match, but it's where we're going here, it's, but then you shift, and this is where, this is one of the reasons why I think so many people are so high on AEW, man, because AEW, AEW makes mistakes and not everything they do is great, but it seems like they know what they want to do with the vast majority of the talent that's there. They're moving in a direction. I mean, even though one thing I want to talk about, man, that Cody versus Darby Allin match, Darby, man, he looks small. God, dang, he looks small. But I mean, I love his wrestling style. He just goes, because it's like, I'm small, so I have to go all out.
I'd like to see him lift some weights.
That's the thing.
I mean, he's not going to get tall.
Same thing I keep saying. Somebody get that kid a sandwich. All those guys are just.
He's really young. He'll fill out.
They really need to
but he'll never get big.
They need to get some.
He needs some steroids, man. I'm like superstar Billy Graham talking about Kofi Kingston. A couple weeks
Kofi
ago,
looks like a giant compared to that guy.
I'm all about guys doing TRT, man. I mean, you don't got to go full on roids, man, but do some TRT to get a little bit of bulk on you. But the match itself was actually pretty good, and I loved seeing my boy Arn come out, man. I loved seeing Arn come out with Cody.
He overplayed the coach thing a little bit. I thought that was a little when Cody's like leaning out and he's like, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? You've been wrestling for like 15 years.
Okay, this is the first step. This is the first step toward building a new Four Horsemen in AEW, because I guarantee you what's going to happen is it's going to be a thing between Cody and Sean Spears, and I bet you MJF is going to get involved, and we're going to see a slow build, and then Arn's going to turn on him.
All right.
It's going to be the new Four Horsemen with Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard in their background.
I was thinking what they could do is, since analytics is so popular in almost every sport, Arn Anderson could be like the old guy that's like telling him his X's and O's. And then some young, brash Yale guy could come in and be like, no, this got to do the analytics on wrestling. And this is how you got to coach the wrestlers going forward.
But I love the fact that when Arn came out, he was tapping the AEW thing on his chest. He's like, yeah, this is where I am now.
Well, he kind of got the shaft. I mean, he's talked about it on his podcast about, WWE let him go. He let the wrestler go out and she was inebriated or whatever in the ring. And so he took the heat for that. And after like 18 years of working for him, they just, instead of, like I said, when that's something weird that I would love to talk about. Some of the weird things that have happened to in WWE. Like I said, Michael P.S. Hayes has had a couple of things where he's said racist stuff, and in those instances, he either wasn't punished or he was just sent home for 60 days, and they was like, all right, you come back, everything's cool now. You figure if you've been working there 18 years, okay, you made a mistake that Vince would fine you or suspend you and say, okay, you got to take 2 weeks off or a month or whatever, and you get another chance. And it was just, but I think one thing Arn was saying on his podcast is it's himself. He said he felt like he was still seen after nearly 20 years as one of the WCW guys. He wasn't a real WWE guy. So when the incident happened, he was never really one of us anyway. So it's easy to walk him out the door.
Yeah, and Vince had a little bit of that for all of the WCW guys. That's one of the reasons why Booker T, he never really quite got put over the way.
He's lucky he got put over as well as he did.
That clip of Triple H cutting that promo on him is like,
oh, don't even get me.
You or I'm not supposed to lose the guys like you or whatever. That clip.
My God,
that was cringe. That storyline. Triple H, and obviously I understand he's in the heel position, but they really pushed a lot of racial stuff during that storyline. And obviously,
this is probably my white privilege coming forward, but what I personally think is the real sin of that whole thing is a 30-second, there was a pedigree and like 30 seconds in between before the final pinfall, and Booker T just laid there. And that was horrible insult.
Him falling on his sword because they were going to take his paycheck if he didn't.
Oh man, but, he waited in that ring so long. Holy cow!
The Cody Darby Allin match was really good. There was a lot of fun. I thought the segment with SCU and Sammy Guevara was kind of funny. And then get Sammy versus Christopher Daniels next week. Hopefully Daniels doesn't trip on the ropes again. But I would say we got to talk about that women's championship match, man. I think they did a good job of setting up people coming after Rio. Like legitimately, this is like the first legitimate storyline they're doing with the women's division, where they're all pissed at her, but like you're sneaking in and you're stealing wins from us.
Well, I was just glad they kept the Dark Order off of whatever the hell they did.
They had a segment, but that was it.
Yeah, they kept them off TV after that because even Jim Ross said it was the drizzling shits.
Yeah,
the
Bucks even made fun of it on being the elite.
Being the elite, yeah,
they made fun of it. They realized that it was a screw up, but dude, I thought Sheeta was gonna take that match, man.
I really did too.
Dude, and I did not realize like she's a lot bigger than I thought she was.
I thought anybody title change right there.
Oh man, well, I mean, when they showed her up against Nyla Rose. And I was like, she's like tall. She's taller than Nyla Rose is.
And yeah, that's true.
But the pinfall, and then you had Joey Janela talking about
Jelly Nutella. That is his name on this podcast.
Jelly Nutella.
Jelly Nutella.
Before friggin' gave him the friggin' nut shot from behind. They're finally doing the angle that everybody says, like, why don't you have him wrestling the dude who stole his girlfriend? You know? And it's like they're finally doing that. So it's like, yeah, finally, you guys are, we're getting some storylines. So this is a good thing. And then the Moxley versus Trent match was actually really good.
Trent's not a bad wrestler.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. I thought that worked out. And then obviously the taped segment from Le Champion.
Yeah.
And, even though Ambrose, I sometimes say Moxley, is in studio.
So does Jim Ross, by the way.
Yeah.
God, Jim. I'm still. I love Jim. It's time.
What about Taz? You weren't into that?
No, I can deal with Taz. I liked him when he was on SmackDown with Cole.
Yeah, Taz was almost a non-factor in this.
Yeah, it's
I thought he was pretty present, though.
I'm just saying, Jim. The palsy is bad. It's really bad.
I think it's even more than that. It's just. Well, I mean, the thoughts aren't getting to his mouth in time. It's really the problem.
I think his mind is still sharp. Yeah. Move him back and let him help. It'll help him groom somebody to take his place because, he should still make money. I'm not saying to put him completely out, but it sounds weird hearing him go, somebody, we got a slobber knocker. And I was like, you can clearly.
I want to hear him say that because it's going to come out.
And I'm like, he's getting worse where his words are really slurring. And not to mention he calls them by the wrong name. And then they have to. And it was a couple of times where they kept stepping over each other. You heard they kept, sorry. And I was just like,
he's being reverential to him,
Yeah, it's just, but he ain't got it anymore.
It's like you said, Antonio, we heard what he sounds like when the show isn't going on. And he's obviously with it. He knows how to pace things and put it all together so that it makes sense for everybody. Because just you describing to me what he's saying, it's like, that's a neat little, look into how something's produced.
Get it off screen. I think he's a genius. Jim Ross is a genius. I'm not saying to get rid of. I'm saying, but it sounds. And I listened to some old WWE pay-per-views where he was still called, and the voice it was getting progressively worse. And Vince really liked JR. And didn't want to just completely put him out to pasture, but Michael Cole was like, "Dude, come on, let me, you brought me in here for a reason." And I'm just saying, but he's got a smooth broadcasting voice, whether you like him or not, or even when he does those.
Well, he does, and I mean, in this world that they've crafted for themselves, he is the prototypical announcer that we see Corey Graves doing, or whoever's sitting next to him, and the guys on Raw. I don't even know who they. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why people don't like Morrow as much, because he doesn't really fit that mold. He wants to sell the match a little bit more than the candy that's being, that's pretty, being promoted on the show.
I think Jim has he still understands about talent and all this kind of thing. He could, if you remember the Beyond the Mat movie, he was like in the gorilla position. He had really had another Bell's palsy attack during that time. That's why he was. Yeah. And so what they did so he could keep working is, he was plugged into Lawler's headset, and he's telling Lawler, "Oh man, he's really busted open now," and he's feeding him lines and stuff. He can still communicate with them and help. They need to get somebody that, because I gotta be, and like I said, I hate even saying it because it's like saying someone that's disabled or something shouldn't work. He should still be able to work, but they need to pull him from the broadcast. Yeah, and help book the matches and help do all the creatives. He's still got a sharp mind for the business, but boy, he's really starting to sound very tired. His words are slurring a lot. And I hate to, and he gets really cranky with the fans on Twitter when he's calling people by the wrong names and calling moves wrong. And then like Excalibur's trying to, it's this, and he's calling Tompe Suicida.
As I said, that's the drinking. And every time he says Tope something. I think Criminal Imagination's right, man. Cole Cabana was great when he was on the mic as a commentator.
Yeah. It was actually I could live with that actually if they would make the move.
The fight stream, you could hear JR yelling at the production guys. Because you could right there, that's because you remember JR has worked with WWE, which has like even
JR worked for Bill Watts.
Yeah, he's got he's worked with the best production values that you could possibly have. So he's looking at this going, you guys need to step this crap up. Yeah. But I think he needs to. It's kind of like I think they kind of need to do something like you said. They have him in the background, have him help these new guys learn how to do this right. You know what I mean? And be that talent in the background. And plus, that would take a lot of stress off of him.
Yeah, because he would, he's still employed by the company. He's still helping them grow and everything. He can make appearances on camera from time to time, wave to the fans, do all that. Just make sure everybody knows he's still involved. But they need a smooth is Mike Tenay still working for Impact or whatever? Get him.
No, don't say that.
Oh, okay. I used to like Mike Tenay. That's why I was like, okay.
Mike Tenay was good when like a Mexican wrestler would come out and you don't know who the hell they are, and then he just kind of insinuated himself in, and it's like,
just have Mike Tenay do all the friggin' Lucha Brother.
Oh, well, that'd be good. Yeah. Oh no, well, you can explain to me why they don't tag. Oh, they don't understand it here in America.
They fixed that now. They fixed that.
You noticed that they were doing their tags.
No, they said Jericho and some of the guys. Hey, y'all need.
But then that elite match. I can't even tell you who was tagging. I was like, whoa, there's so much stuff. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were.
What do you guys think of the Dustin versus Sammy Guevara match?
No, it was good. The problem
it had some good moves that I thought it had some moves in it I thought were really good.
It told the best story to get Sammy Guevara to be able to fight.
I think they showed that they made it very clear in the beginning that Dustin obviously had a physical edge on him, and that but then Sammy
outsmart him. Yeah.
He had to outsmart him, and then he took advantage of every little opportunity he could to try to put some offense together. So I thought
he had some help.
And he had some help.
Yeah, Jake Hager. And
that's perfect.
Which I'm happy to see him, because before all that just standing around the damn ring, I said, damn, is his contract with Bellator or something saying he can't do
It's so stringent. They don't want him to do anything.
Well, now he's starting to hit people and do some shit. I was like, okay, at least do that, man.
I think he's got 3 fights that he's contracted with Bellator for. So they're like, you can't do anything that's going to get you hurt until that contract is fulfilled.
I hope they're not paying him a lot, and I wonder if that's the contract that Tony Khan's so upset about.
I don't think so. I mean they're probably paying him decently. I mean he's Jack friggin' Swagger. I mean,
I love JR called him that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
oh Jesus!
But and then of course we had the what do you guys think of the segment with MJF, man? That dude's just so good on the friggin' mic.
He's good.
Oh yeah. But it makes everybody else just look pedestrian at that point.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. I want that guy.
Kiss the ring, baby.
That makes everybody step up their game.
Why don't they have a Kiss the Ring shirt? They need an MJF Kiss the Ring shirt.
I'm sure it's coming.
I was like, they need because he's Kiss the Ring. That he'd be selling those. I mean, it's like, Kiss the Ring.
But
that was not that he had it though.
I thought this game was good. And then Pac Lucha Bros versus the Elite.
I was glad that they went over. That really, I would have been pissed if they lost again. It just looks corny, man. They keep losing, and I was like, dude, y'all supposed to be the best of the best, man, and you're booking yourselves into oblivion.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so when they had their match with the SCU, you have a face-face situation. And nobody was like really going to turn in this one. So it was like a straight up match and they lost. I don't know why. It's kind of strange that the SCU, like Bob said, seemed like they were going to be heels and then they aren't heels. And then they're beating the Lucha guys for the belts. And those would have been the obvious heels to be carrying them. But maybe they felt it was a little too much like Jericho. I don't know why they did what they did. Let's jump beyond. Yeah, if you have like a heel on top, maybe you only have one other set of belts other than like the ladies. Maybe you want faces to actually have them. And Riho's not around as much, so even her getting the championship is a little weird. They kind of blew it a little bit in the beginning, but we knew we were going to give them a little bit of an edge, and hopefully they fix it going forward.
Yeah.
And their audio.
Speaking of Le Champion, his Wrestle Kingdom match has just got a lot more interesting.
That's because they guaranteed that if the title match or whatever, if he gets beat or whatever.
Tanahashi?
Yeah. So
is that the right guy?
It's some guy.
Hiroshi Tanahashi. Because Hiroshi Tanahashi came out and said, if he wins, he wants a shot at the AEW title. And Jericho said, if you want it, you got it. And then New Japan officially announced that, they're saying, okay, if he
tweeted it out and everything. I saw that.
Now some people think that this is this is never going to happen. This does not mean that AEW and New Japan now have a working relationship. But I think that this is a possibility, and the reason why I think it's a possibility is I think they're testing the water here. I think they're going okay because here's the thing. Gato, the guy who runs New Japan, he was upset that the fact that so many of his AEW took so many of his guys away. But the one thing that dude does not pass up on is money. And this a match, Tanahashi versus Jericho for the AEW championship, that is guaranteed money. Guaranteed money. And not only that, but
put the emphasis on their other match.
The emphasis on their other match, and it takes attention and puts it onto. It takes all this heat that AEW's got, and it puts some of it onto New Japan, and that's what they want, especially going forward with their idea of doing a U.S. Having a U.S. program. So a lot of people are saying, nope, we don't think this is going to happen. Dude, I would not be shocked if Tanahashi wins that match.
And then, I figured the fact that they put that out there, that's going to happen, obviously.
Now, I'm kind of two minds about whether or not Tanahashi has any chance at all of winning the AEW title. I think they're more likely to put it on Moxley. Because I think they're more likely.
It's pretty clear he's next in line. I'd say.
Yeah,
so.
But I'm gonna tell you what, I would not. If it was me, I would have Tanahashi win that match against Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom, and I'd have him win the friggin' title.
Well, that would be some like
the winning the title is a separate match, though. You want to.
Right. That'll happen in AEW. That won't happen in New Japan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's a match.
I think by then we would know they have a working relationship.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I can see them doing something tentative like that. Put the belt on Tanahashi. He wears it for like a month and then drops it to Moxley.
Yeah, that's a lot like how Ring of Honor used to do it.
Because Moxley's big over in Japan right now too. He's going for the U.S. title on the same card.
Yeah, all Americans are big over there, right?
So let me
go ahead.
I'm about to say, let me put a timeout on all this New Japan stuff because we never talked about SmackDown.
Oh, I got something to say.
What's there to say about SmackDown?
During the Mandy Carmelis,
the drizzling shits.
During the Mandy and Carmella match, I saw a sign out in the audience that just said ham. And I thought that was worth mentioning. Also, there was speaking of Sonya Deville, they kind of hinted that she's a little jealous that Mandy's been spending any time with Otis, and she wasn't there to help Mandy out. And then Dolph comes backstage and steps on Otis's cake that that was given to Mandy by Otis. And you're thinking, it pans down and he has some really neat looking shoes on, tennies. And he's got cake all up in that. He's such an idiot. That's Dolph for you.
It's just, I don't know. Like I said, do we care that at the Royal Rumble that Daniel Bryan is going to face the Fiend?
So this will be how many Royal Rumbles where Bray Wyatt's going to beat Daniel Bryan that's going to piss off the fans?
God.
And he won't be in the match, so that's going to piss people off.
I think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus the Fiend at WrestleMania. I think they're
you know what? I actually didn't. I didn't hate Roman Reigns this week. I got to admit.
Did you see his New Year's Eve match? The New Year's thing that he did on Fox against Dolph Ziggler. They taped it. They taped it like
they're not out there in the cold. Oh
no!
That's all I would want to see it for.
They had taped it like the night before or something. But
it was dumb.
Yeah, well,
it was
terrible. The 24 title changed hands,
and it's gone now, right? It got retired?
Yeah. So
that was a mistake on the WWE website. They did put it was retired, but no.
So SmackDown just showed me once again that they don't know what the hell to do with Braun Strowman. That they're determined to destroy that character.
Oh, he's destroyed.
And him dancing at the end with New Day was.
You loved it. Like New Day can get away with that.
Oh, that was cringy. That was cringy.
All right, I want to let everybody know what I personally think the best Braun Strowman moment ever was, and it was when Roman Reigns was on a stretcher going to the ambulance. And Braun Strowman takes that stretcher. He's all, and he like wheels him and just throws him out off a stage. That was his best moment ever, personally, for me. It's all been downhill since then.
I'm just waiting on Bobby Roode to get off his drug suspension so he can come back to work.
I swear to God, man. And then
shave that mustache.
Speaking of the drizzling shits, the stupid number one contender match that took 3 times to get going.
Oh, that was lame. That was lame.
So freaking stupid.
Well, they had to give Roman his get back though, because that's the whole thing. They making it. They pour dog food on him, and he's been getting his ass beat a lot. And but then the match he has to Superman punch 20 damn people. And I was
I said, "Thank you, Roman." That's what I said.
They're going to do that stupid dog food match. Oh, God, man. Like I said, when WWE does something good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's really, really bad. And this is bad. The match itself was meh.
We've got great comments today, by the way, in the chat. But Antonio is only allowed to read them if you super chat him, just to let you know.
Here's the thing, and then the Sasha Banks Bailey man versus friggin' Lacey Evans and Dana Brooke. Why is Lacey Evans a friggin' babyface? That makes no sense.
Nothing about her screams like babyface. Even though that she's a military woman, she has kids. She's fighting.
Well, she has a kid, right? She has.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's one daughter. Yeah,
whatever. And that
I saw her husband and stuff on Instagram.
Don't put that kid on camera right now. It's not time for that again. Hire somebody, please.
Hire a little child actor.
Yeah, exactly.
This SmackDown just reemphasized to me how completely out of touch Vince is.
I love Daniel Bryan. That's all I can say. That's it.
I love the fact that we've got American Dragon Daniel Bryan back, or at least a version of him. But you're putting him into crap like this. Why? It's like having a freaking thoroughbred racehorse and then putting a cart on him.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It's so stupid.
I keep hoping that Dolph Ziggler gets another shot. I keep hoping The Miz gets another shot. I mean, I'm just saying, I like both of those.
I think The Miz is doing great exactly how he's doing because...
But he's not ever going to get the big belt again, I don't think.
Probably not.
Never.
But I really enjoyed the fact that here we have history with him and Bryan. And that plays out. Like, they're like, all right, Corbin's not here. Let's beat the hell out of each other. And they're going to because they don't like each other. Yeah. And then Corbin is in the match. And they're like, all right, well, we hate this guy even more. We're going to beat the shit out of him. And then they go after each other. And I do appreciate that still goes on with those two characters.
Well, I mean,
the match itself was not bad.
Yeah.
The angle is just dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at The Miz. He's 38, almost 39 years old. He just had another baby in September. He don't want the strap.
It's going to be hard taking that weight off also.
Yeah.
I don't know. Baby weight.
If Maurice, I don't know. I just think Maurice looks like she's a good time. She can put a little spare tire down there and I still be all right with it.
Oh, I just meant,
I like him with a little pudding.
Yeah, she be all right, but I just, like I said, she just looks like she's, I don't know, I like watching her on Ms. and Mrs. She's very affectionate.
I saw that video I sent you guys today, man. That's the kind of woman I'm looking for right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it go viral. Make it happen.
I figured you would like that, Antonio. I was like, that's the kind of thing Antonio wants to see with the.
That is true. That is true. But see, I know we're not ever going to go back to like old school WWE Diva, which I thought the Divas division was stupid because they were just, they were literally sports fitness models and stuff like that. They weren't real wrestlers. They just fitness models that had been trained to take a couple of bumps and do a couple of little moves and everything. I was hoping in a perfect world we will get something very comparable to the TNA knockouts division in its heyday. Yeah, that's what I love. Yeah. I thought they had really credible women that just bam, and just killed it. So that's what I'm looking.
They had some good ones. I mean, obviously they had Mickie James and Gail Kim and
Mickie James
at her height,
Mickie James ruined her career sleeping with John Cena.
ODB was, better. She's kind of a wreck right now, but she's still functioning.
I dropped that, by the way, for anybody that's wondering what the clip that I'm talking about, I dropped that link into the chat there. So enjoy, everybody. Enjoy a little bit of Piter Tokyo Latina.
Yeah. Well, they do it a little different, in the land of the rising sun, I hear. So,
yeah,
man. But
that's my waifu right there.
But just so we're I think SmackDown, I'll give it like a 2. Thought Raw, I'd lean towards a 2.5, 3. I'll give AEW Dynamite a 3.
Is this out of a 5?
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
Okay,
out of 5.
Okay, cool.
Out of 5.
I was like, out of 10.
Just out of 5. No, not out of a 10. No, but that's why I'm like, SmackDown was definitely a 2 for me. I thought, like I said, Raw had some moments, 2.5, 3, and then AEW Dynamite was definitely a 3. I saw now the Dynamite, the AEW Dark from the week before with Orange Cassidy under the ring and all that. I would have gave that like a 3.5 or a 4. I thought that the audience really popped when they pulled him out and then they pushed him back under. I thought that was great, that whole deal. But
if AEW's backstage and on location segments sounded better, like if you could actually hear when Private Party was upset with what's his name for taking the drink.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Hangman Page.
Hangman Page.
If you could actually hear that stuff, do you think you might have given it a better score?
Everything.
I don't know, man. Yeah, they really need to. They really need to fix their production values. It's.
I mean, I thought
it's the thing
Khan.
that's holding them back the most, I think.
Yeah, they definitely. You know, you got a billionaire backing you. I thought
that money goes fast in wrestling.
Yeah, so, yeah. I have no idea how much.
That's why there's no union in wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm just curious where all that money is going. I'm like, did they just pick people straight out of college, like out of TV production in college? Like, this is their first job. All right, you running the crew. Boom. You know, it's like
Cody keeps needing to have his head stitched back together. So
exactly. Well, the WWE is smart. They have that NXT. They're training their students. You know. Their students are working that one.
if I had to rate everything, I'd give SmackDown like a 1.5. It was awful, man.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
I like the final match. That's about it.
You know, it's like but man, it's all the
I'm
bullshit.
just tired of seeing Miz lose all the time. So.
You know, and then
not his time.
SmackDown, I'd give Raw maybe a 2.
That really there were some really good matches.
But like I said, the crap you had to wade through was just painful.
Well, most of the crap was like right at the end, like when Lana hugged Lashley and she pulled back and she had like black on her.
They give you a piece of
great, yeah. Yeah, the bronze and stuff, whatever that. Oh God, that was great.
If I gave you a piece of cake, and it was the best piece of cake you ever had, and I took a massive steamer on top of it, would it be good?
No. See, now the dessert for me, that's at the end, so it's on the bottom, so I can eat quite a few layers before I get to that. You know, there you go.
I'd give Dynamite a pretty solid 3.5. Like I said, the production problems, I think, really stood out. They really stood out this episode.
I like that Dynamite was starting to at least address some of their storylines and the booking and stuff like that.
That's the reason why I give it that extra half, because they're actually starting to work some story.
They're making an effort. I definitely agree with that.
I mean,
I would give a 2.5.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I'll get to it. But I saw Power, and let me tell you, it's so quaint and so reminiscent of fun wrestling.
Wrestling.
I just love that.
That's what NWA is. Wrestling.
It's there. You're doing a promo and you're talking to somebody, and the crowd's like, you know what? I'm not going to agree, and they let you know. The wrestlers are now in a situation where they can address the crowd and get them on their side or going a little bit longer, and it's just a really cool way, as intimate as it is, to try and get these guys over, and it's a little refreshing to watch. So Power.
You know what? I like watching NWA Power for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after
I only watched for like 10.
And after that, I'm done. It's, you know, I went back down memory lane for a few minutes. I'm done.
It's like 51-year-old dude is 52-year-old dude challenging Nick Aldis. I was like, oh wait, man. He's married to Mickey James, if I'm not mistaken. Is that not correct?
He is.
Like I said,
she the fact that the Rock and Roll Express.
I'm just saying she was punished for giving her vagina to John Cena, and then he was done with it, so they had to move her to another show.
Yeah.
Oh.
That happened. So
I hear you.
And she was with that guy Kenny from the Spirit Squad at the time. That's what I was saying. She was engaged to him and messing with Cena, and then Cena was like, "Oh, Cena and CM Punk was running through the locker room in WWE. They was running through and Seth Rollins apparently is a player, so the man might need to keep an eye on her man." So
hey man, I'm tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
She's got a kid now, and
man,
you know,
hey, as long as Alexa Bliss is in the company, no man is safe.
Hey man, I like salute to Alexa. Yeah, she is definitely. Yeah. All right, man, guys. It's been
man,
it's
I don't
too
need
hot
a
for
heater on
TV,
anymore.
and this has been fun. Obviously, guys, we will be back next week at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the SNB Network. If you check my my favorite channels, you will see a link to Mr. Boogie Bentley's channel, and you can go ahead and sub to that, and be sure to join us there next week. We are having too much fun, but it will be great to have Boogie back, and we will be a foursome again. Boom, 4 horsemen, baby. But all our social media is in the description as well. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. This has been awesome. But I think the Wrestling Council will bid adieu. Good night, everybody.
Good night.